गुरु जी नाल जुड़े कह नहीं सकती कितना टाइम हो गया। कभी लगता है कि 6-7 साल हुए, कभी लगता है शायद 15-20 साल हो गए होने ने, कभी लगता है जन्म जन्म का शायद कोई रिश्ता सी। गुरु जी दिखाते रहते ने हर बार कुछ नवी चीज। सो इफ आई गो बैक 2015 सीमा सिंह आंटी अमेरिका तो और अमित राय अंकल आए सीगे साडे इत्थे और मन समझ नहीं आया उस टाइम कि वो आए ने इंडिया, बट वो अपनी पूरी तैयारी कि असी मंदिर एक स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। गुरु जी का मंदिर हैगा एडिसन विच और आए हैं असी और दिल्ली गए, गल्लां करते रहे, बड़े मंदिर होके आ रहे हैं, असी डुगरी जा रहे हैं और साडे इत्थे बैठे घर च पेपर वर्क चलता रहता सी। सीमा सिंह आंटी was a lawyer, is a lawyer, so she would keep doing all the paperwork all the time. पर वो टाइम शायद साडा बुलावा उस टाइम नहीं सीगा। गुरु जी का पाया होया चूल्हा साडे घर आया। अंकल मनु कहन सूंगो देखो कितनी खुशबू हैगी, बट उस टाइम ते नहीं सी, सानू नहीं आई, असी इस लायक नहीं सी। शायद गुरु जी ने सानू उस टाइम ते एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना सीगा। मेरी बेटी दे स्टडी टेबल ते वो चोला 10 दिन जितने दिन अंकल आंटी इत्थे सीगे वो पिया रहा, पर सानू दी वैल्यू नहीं समझ आई उस टाइम। सो गुरु जी नाल जुड़ना इज नॉट साडे हाथ च नहीं हैगा। ਇਹ चीज मैं सुनती रहती है, बट ਇਹ समझ सानू हौली हौली आई कि गुरु जी कोल तुसी ਜਦੋਂ गुरु जी का हुक्म होएगा, ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੁਲਾਵਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ। ਇਹ 2015 ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਇਆ, लेकिन 2 साल गुजर गए। सीमा आंटी ਜਾਂਦੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਵਾਪਸ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਨੰਬਰ ਦੇ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰੋ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਗੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਦਾ ਮੰਦਿਰ ਦਾ, ਬੰਬੇ ਮੰਦਿਰ ਦਾ, ਆਸ਼ਰਮ ਦਾ। ਤੇ ਲੇਕਿਨ मेरी सोच घट और तरीका गलत पुछण दा, ते मैं वो नंबर ते फोन करके पूछा कि कोई ग्रुप हैगा इत्थे दा गुरु जी दा, बट अगों मैनू जवाब मिलिया ग्रुप कोई नहीं हैगा। फिर गल रह गई, नहीं जान होया गुरु जी वाल। 2017 आई वेंट टू न्यू जर्सी and that was the first time मैं गुरु जी दे मंदिर गई। सीमा सिंह आंटी दे घर जदों गई बड़ा अजीब लग्या, हर जगह जेड़ी दीवार ते जिथे मुंह मोड़ो उत्थे गुरु जी दिखदे ने, तां अजीब लगदा सी। सच्ची दसां, आई एम गोइंग टू बी वेरी ट्रूथफुल शेयरिंग माई जर्नी विद गुरु जी। ठीक है गुरु जी हैगे ने एक कद स्वरूप, तां ते पिक्चर कहंदे सी कि एक कद फोटो लगी हुई, ठीक है, पर पूरे घर जिथे मुंह मोड़ो उत्थे गुरु जी, जिथे मुंह मोड़ो उत्थे गुरु जी। बट एनीवेज फिर सानू संडे दे दिन एक दिन नैक्सट डे जो असीं न्यू जर्सी पहुंचे, आंटी लैके गए मंदिर, एडिसन मंदिर। एंड वॉट अ ब्यूटिफुल एक्सपीरियंस इट वॉज। वो शब्दां विच बयान नहीं किया जा सकता कि ब्लिस या आनंद जो है वो स्टेज की हुंदी है, जो सिर्फ गुरु जी दे मंदिर, गुरु जी दे सत्संग, गुरु जी दे दरबार विच बैठ के आंदी है। इट वाज सो ब्यूटिफुल, दोस 2 आवर्स बहुत ही अच्छा लग्या। और जदों सत्संग तो बाद असी बाहर निकले, अमित अंकल ने सारियां नाल मिलवाया सानू कि मेरे सिस्टर बॉम्बे तो आए ने। संगत जी, I must have met at least 60-70 Sangat, and each and every one had only one thing to say oh, is this your first time? Now you see your life changing. Now you will experience miracles in your life. I was like, wow, it's a badi vadiya jagah aa gaye si. You know, life is going to be so beautiful. I mean, 60, 70 people can't be wrong, you know. So beautiful. Just went back home with the great feeling and presence of Guruji. But early next morning, I get a call from Bombay that my mother is very sick. Yes, she's had a stroke. And then I have to rush back. And बस उतने ही I was like, यार इस तरह किस तरह हो गया? कल ते सारे मन बोल रहे सीगे कि तुम्हारी लाइफ विच उन miracles होंगे. You see your life changing, you know. And एक ही कितना गुरुजी? There was no Guruji for me at that time. Honestly. बिल्कुल कुछ belief, विश्वास, nothing. Because इतने में जा रही हूँ गुरुजी के मंदिर, and that's what I'm praying for. Good health for my mom, you know, for, you know, happiness for the family, everything. So this was very difficult for me to take. I came back to India. By the time I came, Mummy had already gone into a coma. And ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਕੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੰਮੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਠੀਕ ਸੀਗੇ, ਮੰਮੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਸੀ ਕੋਈ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਹੋਏ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤੇ ਮਹਾਮ੍ਰਿਤੁੰਜੇ ਦਾ ਜਾਪ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ. ਸੋ ਆਈ ਯੂਜ਼ਡ ਟੂ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਬਾਈ ਹਰ ਸਾਈਡ ਇਨ ਦੀ ICU ਆਲਸੋ, ਐਂਡ ਮੈਂ ਮਹਾਮ੍ਰਿਤੁੰਜੇ ਦਾ ਜਾਪ ਕਰਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਸਾਰਾ ਟਾਈਮ. ਦੈਟਸ ਇਟ. ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਵੀ, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਿਆ. And within 7 days, Mummy passed away. So there was no connection with Guruji at that time. I just could not believe, you know, because kis tarah ho sakta hai? So anyway, the journey continued. Nahi puchha, nahi gaye. After a couple of months, my uncle said, ke, "Jalo Bombay Kandivali jehda mandir hai, let's go there. Ho ke aane hai." So Mandir was the kadi na nahi kar sakdi main. So we went to the Mandir. And as we were sitting there, Guruji da dhyan nahi, us time kuch Guruji de bare ch pata bhi nahi si, kyunki pata bhi nahi kita. But as my eyes were closed, suddenly I get everything, you know, flashes. Ki kadon hoya, mummy kadon bimar hoye sige. And when I worked the time, it was exact time that I was sitting in the Mandir in New Jersey where Mummy nu stroke hoya ithe. India time, it was 2:30 early morning, and it was 12:32 between that time in New Jersey. So that calculation sort of started कि अच्छा उसी time होया. फिर उसके बाद I just opened my eyes and I looked up and I see Shivji. And then I'm like, it was a Monday that happened. Mummy passed away the following Monday again. And then Shivji the roop, Shivji the avatar again, those things just started coming. And then Mummy the belief bahut sigi Shivji. Mummy te jadon chote bhi honde sige, taan bhi, balki she used to stay in Allahabad. And in Allahabad, there were a lot of these snakes and scorpions and all that bichu nikalde sige. And Mummy kadi darde nahi se, hatha ch pakad ke le aande sige. Sare bolde sige ki dardi nahi hai. And Mummy used to always narrate those incidents. But she always believed in Shivji. So that whole thing just came to me while I was sitting in the Mandir. And then I realized that Guruji is an avatar of Shivji. And then this one line that just came to my mind, like Guruji is telling me, "Main unu sambhal liya." And that's when I realized what he did for Mummy, because she never wanted to be on the bed. Her mother had a stroke, my nani, and she was in bed for 2 years. And so my mom was always scared कि Manu bistare te nahi pehna hai. I don't want to, you know, live with paralysis if that ever happens. So it was, just suddenly all of this started coming to my mind while I was in the Mandir, and Guruji manu das rahe ne. And I was like, now I get it, Guruji. So thodi belief just start hui कि okay, this is what happens. We started going to Kandivali Mandir. ਹੋਰ ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਬਸ ਇਹ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਰਹੋ। ਜੋ ਆਨੰਦ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਮੰਦਿਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ, ਜੋ ਚਾਹ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ, ਜੋ ਦਾ ਰਸ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਜੋ ਲੰਗਰ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਦੀ ਭੁੱਖ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਸਮਝਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ ਸੀ। And I couldn't understand any of that. So we just started going regularly to the Mandir. On 1st of October 2017, we had gone on a trip to Goa. Suddenly, at around 3:38, when I saw the clock on the side, I woke up. मेरे मुंह जिस तरह कुछ hard हैगा, मैं bite किता हैगा. And I woke up suddenly and मिश्री जिस तरह मुंह से की. I just couldn't understand कि मैं तो सो रही हूँ, नींद किस तरह. And I just sat up. And then the whole dream came. What I was dreaming of. ਹੁਣ ਇਤਨੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਸੁਣਨ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਅਗਰ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਏ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਵੈਰੀ ਵੇਗ ਡ੍ਰੀਮ, ਵੈਰੀ ਫਨੀ, ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਸਲਮਾਨ ਖਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੋ ਕੈਟਰੀਨਾ ਕੈਫ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰ ਲੈ। ਬੜੀ ਅਜੀਬ, ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕੌਣ, ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ। ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਸੁਪਨੇ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਸਲਮਾਨ ਖਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਭਣ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਹੈਗਾ, ਐਂਡ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਗਾਰਡਸ ਮਨ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਹਟਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। एंड देन आई एम सेइंग लाइक कि नहीं उनके लिए एक मैसेज है। सो दे सेड नहीं, आप नहीं जा सकते। एंड देन सडनली आई सी गुरुजी स्वरूप। आई सेड सी, वो गुरुजी को मानते हैं, वो गुरुजी को मानते हैं, तो ये बात सुनेंगे कि उनके लिए एक मैसेज है, तो मुझे उनको बताना है, मुझे उनको बताना है। दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से। एंड सडनली मेरे को पीछे से आवाज आती है, दास की कहना है। एंड आई टर्न अराउंड and I see Guruji standing. I'm like, Guruji, और मैं अच्छी खासी पंजाबी बोलनी है, बट उस टाइम जिस तरह मेरे मुंह चो पंजाबी भूल गई या की, and I'm like, Guruji, and I'm like, thank you so much, Guruji, thank you so much for blessing me, for letting me, at your feet. So he tells me, Kiddan de? And I am so shocked, because once when I had seen Guruji's Charan Swaroop, मेरे माइंड में एक थॉट आई थी कि इन्हें मैले मैले पैर। मैं गल कदी किसी नाल कीती नहीं। I have never shared this with anyone. And Guruji knew, because he asked me, किद्दां दे? And I said, Guruji, your lotus feet. And he said, हाँ. I just couldn't believe it. I was like in a trance. And then he's like, and I tell him, Guruji, manu apna signature do, tusi likh do na, blessings always, Guruji. I want that, Guruji. So he said, le de. So I take out my diary, my clinic diary, where I give appointments. But to diary, sare page pare hue ne. Every page is full. There is no space. And I'm trying to look. Even Sundays are full. And I'm wondering, when you are dreaming, subconscious mind is kadi ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਡ੍ਰੀਮ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੋਲੋ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ। ਐਂਡ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਥਿੰਕਿੰਗ, ਵਾਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ, ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਆ ਕੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਬਲੈਸ ਕਰ ਗਏ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੀ ਡਾਇਰੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੋਈ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਖਾਲੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਫੁੱਲ ਆਫ ਅਪਾਇੰਟਮੈਂਟਸ, ਇਵਨ ਸੰਡੇਜ਼ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਵਰਕਿੰਗ। ਸੋ ਦੈਨ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਟੈਲਿੰਗ ਮੀ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਆਈ ਕਾਂਟ ਫਾਈਂਡ ਅ ਪਲੇਸ, ਸੋ ਹੀ ਸੈਡ ਐਲ, ਐਂਡ ਹੀ ਗੇਵ ਮੀ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ। ਮੈਂ ਫਟਾਫਟ ਹੱਥ ਅੱਗੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ। And what he gave me, I put it in my mouth. And that was the mishri which woke me up, because I bit on the mishri. And I stood up. Manu ta amrit vela nahi pata siga, manu kuch samajh nahi sigi. But I was just looking at the watch and I didn't know what to do. I just waited for morning so that uncle would get up. And then I started narrating the dream. I don't know what happened to me. मैं बस रोई जा रही सी मेरा रोना बंद नहीं हो रहा सीगा and I was narrating this. And that's when ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਵੀ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ dream darshan doesn't mean dream darshan. It means Guruji has come to you. He has given you real darshan. But that was the day where my belief in Guruji skyrocketed. Because that feeling, I cannot describe what it was. It was, ਲੋਕ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਰੱਬ ਦਿਖਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਬਰਦਾਸ਼ਤ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਪਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਕਦੀ. So, for us, ਇਤਨੇ ਲੂਜ਼ਲੀ ਕਹਿ ਦੇਣਾ ਕਿ ਰੱਬ ਦਿਖੇਗਾ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੰਨ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੰਨੋਗੇ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਰਦਾਸ਼ਤ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਪਾਓਗੇ. ਇੰਨੀ ਪਾਵਰ, ਇੰਨੀ ਐਨਰਜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਪਾਓਗੇ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਫੀਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੀ ਹਾਂ, ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫੀਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਂਸੂ ਟਪਕਨੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗੂਜ਼ ਬੰਪ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਐਨਰਜੀ ਫੀਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. Trust me, Guruji is there. He's there with all of us. There was no looking back after that, So, रोज ਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸਤਸੰਗ ਜਾਣਾ. ਇੱਕ ਐਸਾ ਜਨੂਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਸਕੇ. ਪਰ ਉਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਸਵਰੂਪ ਆਸਾਨੀ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਬੁੱਕ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ. But I used to just go crazy looking online कि कोई भी फोटो ही मैं प्रिंट करवा लवां गुरु जी ने, मैं PDF फाइल्स डाउनलोड कर लवां, मैं गुरु जी के बारे च पढ़ा हूं. वो जुनून सी, that craziness, I'm telling you, आंदी है जदों गुरु जी नाल तुसीं जुड़ जांदे हैगे हो. It was just beautiful. The first satsang, but I kept, when I attended satsang, man लगता सी यार ਇੰਨੀ ਸੰਗਤ, सत्संग करो तो संगत होनी चाहिए ना, गुरु जी ते ताई आंदे ने. एंड आई थॉट मेरा छोटा घर है 2 BHK, किस तरह असी करांगे. सो एनीवे हिम्मत करके ऐसे नहीं सत्संग करना हैगा. सो आई टोल्ड कोऑर्डिनेटर आंटी कि आंटी 40-50 संगत तक 2 bedroom में कंफर्टेबल रहेगा. सो शी सेड ओके, वी विल डू दैट. Then one of the other sevadars who came, an uncle, and he's telling me, he says, नहीं आंटी आप ऐसा करो, आप 100 प्लेटें मंगा के रखो. I was okay, मैं तो 50 मंगाई है, 40-50 के अंदर. He said नहीं. And you won't believe it, Sangat ji, when I was sitting in the दरबार, संगत आए जा रही सी और गुरु जी मन कहते ने 10 कहती है घर छोटा है. And it was hammering, he was hammering it on my head. 10 कहती घर छोटा है, 10 कहती घर छोटा है. I was like, 97 Sangat, how did we accommodate everybody? Everybody was sitting comfortably. And that's when, I was told, कि Guruji, दीवारा भी खिंच के लंबियां कर देंदे ने. संगत ਨੂੰ ਬਿਠਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਰੂਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ. So it was so beautiful, that satsang that happened for the first time. Jadon mantar jap hoya, the vibrations in the house, the feeling of oh my God, ke Guruji, you are here in my house. This was just unbelievable. तो ये सिलसिला गुरुजी के साथ चलता रहा. इतना शुक्राना मालिक का कि हमें इस लायक समझा कि हम गुरुजी की कुछ सेवा में लग सके. सत्संग, सेवा, मंदिर जाना, ये सब शुरू हो गया. And then came COVID. But COVID taught me one thing, कि जिन्ने COVID टाइम ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਿਆ ਰੱਬ ਹੈਗਾ, ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਕਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕੇ. For I think barely 15 days मैं क्लिनिक बंद रखा होना अपना, जब तक WHO ਦੀ पूरी गाइडलाइंस नहीं आ गई साढ़े कोल. And I started work from 8th of May. 23rd March, the flights, international flights shut down, and then, everything started closing down. But 8th of May, I got back into practice, though half-day practice. but Sangat ji, वो half day practice itli Guruji full day practice करांदे सीगे. I did not feel the pinch. I did not suffer like people say. We went through our shorts, we went through COVID. Guruji ने बहुत बहुत मेहर रखी हमेशा. ਇੰਨੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਤੇ. But that was a beautiful time. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਪੂਰਾ 1.5 ਸਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੋਜ਼ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵੇਲਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ. We did ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵੇਲਾ every single day and ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦਾ ਸਤਸੰਗ every single day of COVID. It was so beautiful. ਇੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਟਾਈਮ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਨ ਦਾ. So, once you go to a satsang, it's like you're sharpening yourself. That belief, again, every time, you are building that up. So, Guruji Maharaj ne बहुत मेहर रखी साढ़े थे. एक दिन असी satsang जाना सीगा to Lonavala, and we were 7-8 sangat. So we were just deciding कि किस तरह जावांगे, गड्डी किद्दी होएगी सारे. And जो आंटी normally लेके जाते हैं उन्होंने दी इनोवा सीगी, and she said कि नहीं मेरे तो मैकेनिक said कि आप ये गाड़ी तो बिल्कुल हाईवे पे मत चलाना because टायर ठीक नहीं है. So I was like नहीं चलेंगे, हम चलेंगे, हमारी गाड़ियाँ ले जाएंगे दोनों गाड़ियाँ. And my uncle said even our car you should not take that unless you change the tires. And I'm like, how? There's no time for it. We have to go. This was Saturday and Sunday को जाना है. ऐसे आज टाइम नहीं है बिल्कुल भी. हम वहां से होके आके फिर चेंज करा लेंगे. But somehow, मैं जिद पकड़ ली कि नहीं जाएंगे, हम ये गाड़ी लेके जाएंगे and करेंगे. So I was driving, stopped on the way in the market where we normally don't get parking. But that day, right opposite the shop, I got parking. I was like, wow, Guruji, ਗੱਡੀ ਤੇ parking ਵੀ ਮਿਲ ਗਈ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ market ਵਿੱਚ. ਫਟਾਫਟ I crossed the road. As I crossed the road, suddenly there was a loud bang, the sound of a tire burst. And I am looking out, ਸਾਰੇ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਬਾਹਰ. Normally bus ਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕੁਝ. But ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ. So ਦੇਖ ਕੇ we were back. I just picked up the stuff. As I was crossing the road and I looked, सामने I looked at my car, पीछे the tire बड़ी अजीब shape हुई सीगी. And at that time, it didn't register. I just got nearer to the car and I see कि बिल्कुल ही deformed लग रहा हैगा. I just picked up the stuff. I said, चलो गड्डी दी parking ते मिली हुई है. I'll leave the car here. I'll take an auto and go home. And I'll send somebody to pick it up. When I sat in the auto, I realized, oh my God, the tire burst was my car. And that happened in the middle of the market. Okay. It happened after I got out of the car. I was across the road and it happened. Sangatji, I was going to take this car the next morning with the Sangat for a satsang to Lonavala. But Guruji अपनी संगत का कितना ध्यान रख देंगे. He knew कि ऐ सुनेगी नहीं, ऐ कुड़ी जाएगी. And he made this happen. The tire burst happened in a stationary car. Normally you see this happening in a moving car. But the car was parked. I got out of the car. I crossed the road. Nothing. I was safe. किसी ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਗੱਡੀ ਮੋਸ਼ਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ. ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਈਕਲਿਸਟ, ਸਕੂਟਰ ਵਾਲਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ, I could have jumped the divider because of the tire burst. And nothing happened. ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਡਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਨੇ. How much he loves us. How much he loves us. He has saved us so many times. And then, I think the biggest satsang that I would like to share was in 2021, in September. I just felt, one day examining, just generally because ਅਸੀਂ patients ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ examine करने आए, and I just felt कि ਇੱਥੇ swelling है कि एक छोटी जी. But I just thought कि कोई infection तो है नहीं कि ਇੱਥੇ हो जाए swelling. But 2-3 दिन ਵਿੱਚ it became big. Like I could feel कि जिस तरह you know मटर दे दाने तो बादाम दा गिरी दा size हो गया आएगा. So I immediately went. I said I need to get this checked, and so I was advised that you should do a biopsy. And I was like, okay, कुछ नहीं निकला, मेरे को तो कुछ problem है ही नहीं है. I don't have any dental problem. I don't have any ENT problem. And this area, it means it is coming from this part of the face. But I was absolutely fine. So I was not worried at all. कुछ भी नहीं निकलेगा. So I went, and the doctor said that this is going to be a deep surgery because the lymph node is very, very deep inside. And doing surgery would mean a lot of risk. But I was ready to take that risk because I just wanted it out of my system, whatever it was. पर एक बार गुरुजी ने क्वेश्चन किया कि गुरुजी तुसी ते वैसे ही सारे नु ठीक कर दे, तुसी ते कितने कैंसर ठीक किते ने, तुसी कितने इलाज आपे ही किते ने बिना कोई होर सर्जरी या डॉक्टर दा ट्रीटमेंट. ते मेरा भी इसी तरह ही कर दो ना, मनु दस दे दो कि इसी तरह करना है, या मैं you know मैं पुश ते नहीं कर रही अपने आप में just because I'm a doctor, so I feel कि you know I should go to this doctor and do it. But should I do it or you will treat me? This was my question to Guruji. And Sangat ji, you won't believe it. So there was an Amrit Vela. Now somehow Guruji has always given me answers during Amrit Vela. So there was an Amrit Vela Satsang. And I told Guruji in the night कि Guruji आज surgery है तो please मनु answer दे दो, और अगर नहीं होनी चाहिए ऐ surgery तो डॉक्टर बीमार हो जाए, OT कोई प्रॉब्लम हो जाए, and we don't go through the surgery, you know, so you are going to take care of it. But tell me everything as a lay person, जिस तरह के मनु कुछ पता नहीं है, मनु simple words, it's simple language, it's सब दसना गुरुजी. And you won't believe it. Can you ever imagine कि सवेरे playlist इच, this another uncle had the seva of making the playlist. उस इच रिंकू वीर जी दा सत्संग सीगा व्याख्या वाला. And he talks about that when you are sick, when you have to go through general anesthesia and you have to go through surgery. Guruji had very clearly given me the message that you need to go through this. And I couldn't believe it कि सत्संग दी playlist विच कितों आंसर आ सकदा इस तरह केड़े सत्संग विच आएगा. And because that Rinku Veer ji दी playlist singing and they were you know व्याख्या कर रहे सीगे, and he told me. So it was unbelievable, you know, and I knew I had to go through it. So that was the month of October. I went through that surgery, which happened here, and they removed a large lymph node. Biopsy was done. The report came after 5 days, and it was cancer. I just couldn't believe it because I had no symptoms. I had no issues. I didn't feel anything. So I didn't know what to do. Sham de time siga, pone 5 sige, and 5 baje meri seva sigi at a satsang. I just got up and walked out. I just told everybody at home, I'm going very seva. And I went there and I felt all the way, I felt कि मैं जिस तरह ही कोई संगत आएगी सामने, मन कोई आंटी मिल जाएगी, I'll break down, I'll start crying, you know, कि इस तरह हो गया. But Sangat ji, I tell you, मैं जिस तरह ही दरबार इच पैर रखिया, I had forgotten everything. That strength that I got is only from Guruji. Everything was wiped clean. There were no emotions. I could just go in there. I did my seva. 5 baje to leke asi rati 11, 11:30 baje tak, kyunki it was in a banquet hall. So, you know, we had to wind up also. Asi nache, tappe, sab kuch kita. और एक बार नहीं एक आंसू कोई गिरे होना या कोई ऐ फीलिंग कि हाय की हो गया साढ़े नाल. एंड गुरु महाराज जी ने सिखाया आएगा. एंड आई एम सो हैप्पी कि एक बार भी क्वेश्चन कितना गुरु जी वाई मी. not once. It was his strength. Trust me, that strength comes only from Guruji. Anybody listening today has to believe that he gives the strength. My daughter said, nobody is going to cry in the house. And that's how my journey with Guruji with cancer began. We did not cry. But Guruji ne is tarah raste khole saade vaste. I feel Guruji could have given me cancer anywhere else also in the body. Why did he give it to me here? Because that's my field. So I knew I could check myself. I could immediately go to the doctor. My first reaction was, I don't want treatment. I am symptom free. Jitna bhi time likhya Guru Maharaj, cut lamangi is tarah. I don't want treatment. So when I went to the doctor, the oncologist, and I told her, I said, Mere Guru Maharaj hai again. So I'm coming here because my family wants me to, but I don't want treatment. And you know what she tells me? How do you know he hasn't sent you to me? I was like, for a moment when I looked at her and she's like, as if, Guruji has sent me to her. Her line, the doctor speaking like that, I just couldn't believe, And then she said, look, Monika, 75% of the cases and the patients who come to me, I know I can't do anything for them. But you are amongst the 25%. I know we can heal. Everything will be fine. And then began all the tests. So when the surgeon saw me first time, we did all the other tests. So this was a spread of the cancer, but we had to know where is the origin of the cancer. But all the tests were done. The doctors could not find out where is the origin, whether it's in the nose, behind the nose, in the throat, ears, everything, kuch nahi pata laga. And then when the PET scan was done, the PET scan showed somewhere on the right side in my tonsil that there is a problem, but it was not definitive. When the doctor had a look, clinically he examined, just by my opening my mouth, he told me the left tonsil is looking, suspicious. But I told him, I said, no, but the report says the right tonsil. He said, no, there's something wrong with the left tonsil. But anyway, he said, okay, what we need to do is now we will have to do a surgery of the tonsil. So what we will do is we will take a punch biopsy, a small biopsy. While you're on the operating table, this tissue will be sent, or it will be a frozen section. Within 40 minutes, we'll get the report and we'll know which tonsil it is, left or right. So that is the procedure you need to undergo next. That was in the month of November. But Sangatji, on Diwali morning again, that was 4th of November, we had gone for another Amrit Vela Satsang. And while I was sitting, I was in Dhyan. Jina de Karsige upron, there's a huge glass shelf that just came flying out and came and hit me on my right shoulder. Everybody just thought, okay, this is the end of it. My head is going to break, Nothing happened. Everybody kept saying, Aunty Guruji ne bacha liya thonu, Aunty Guruji ne bacha liya thonu. ता तक मैं किसी नाल शेयर नहीं किया सी what I was going through. But मेरे mind ने एक गल आई कि गुरुजी ने कुछ ते treatment किया है मेरा. Because गुरुजी अपने टाइम में जो कहते सी मनु इस तरह कदी चम्मच, कदी पान दे पत्ते, कदी कुछ कि तुहाडे लोगों नूं दिखाण वास्ते मनु करना पैंदा कि तुहानूं पता लगे मैं कुछ इलाज किया है. But in my mind, I knew Guruji had done some form of treatment for me. What had happened at that time, Guruji had, see, the staging of the cancer changes, okay, which side it is. Because the lymph node was on this side, but my X-ray showed, the PET scan showed the right side. So the stage is bigger. cancer stage 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was a little scary, but the doctors were like, we don't know at this point because we don't know the origin. So when they did that frozen section surgery in the month of November, in the frozen section, it came negative. And then the funny thing, because ab wo negative hai, so they don't know where the cancer is. So that means I have to go through chemotherapy, radiation, all of that, because we are dealing with an unknown origin cancer. But trust me, that surgery was supposed to be a bigger one, because when they remove the tonsil, they have to remove all the lymph nodes also in that area. So the doctor came out and he said, I'm just removing the left tonsil because I think that is suspicious. That's it. We are not doing anything else. So I came out of the surgery, and then again the thing, every treatment kya hoga? Chemotherapy, radiation. Then I was preparing myself for that, which was very difficult. But on the 5th day, when we went back to collect the reports and go for a follow-up, that tonsil that had been removed was positive for cancer. And this is what I feel that Guruji did. He moved it because my PET scan showed the right side, but it ultimately came out on the left tonsil. But now the sad part, or the funny thing was, because they had not removed the lymph nodes, the doctor was like, we are happy because now we know where the cancer was. But this means you will have to undergo another surgery to remove all the lymph nodes on this side. And I was like, okay, Guruji. But trust me, Sangatji, not one day was I in pain. Guruji ne जिस तरह अपने हत्थां ते फुल्लां ते संभाल के रखया होया सीगा. Every time I went into the surgery, I came out 5th day, I was absolutely fine and back at work. I just took those 5 days of hospitalization as leave. I was working all other times. Then the 3rd surgery happened in December, where they had to remove those 22 lymph nodes they removed. And the doctor had said, even if one lymph node is positive, then you will have to undergo chemotherapy radiation. And what a day that was, Sangatji. It was a Monday again when the report came, biopsy report. All 22 were clear. Shukrana Guruji Maharaj. Because I somehow was not ready for chemotherapy radiation. There was so much, the feeling of, I don't know what it is going to be. But both the times, the 2nd and the 3rd surgery, there was a butterfly sitting outside our home. My daughter took pictures and she said, Mom, look at this. We stay on the 9th floor. And there was a butterfly on the 2nd surgery and a butterfly on the 3rd surgery. But it stayed for those 5 days. And when I was back at home, we tried to pick it up, but the butterfly was dead. It just stayed in that posture. Guruji, he showed us so many times his presence, always being with me. And I'm telling you, he's always there behind me, right behind me. A lot of people said, but you went through 3 surgeries and how can you be? I said, no, Guruji ne 3 SVS karaiyan because he saved me every time. If they had done it in the first surgery, it would have been a radical treatment. They would have to remove more than, a centimeter of tissue all around. In which case, I would have lost my voice. Chances of that happening were big. I could have lost my capability of swallowing. And also a lot of disfigurement would have happened. But Guruji didn't let that happen. Apne sevak ki rakhe aap. Na Guruji, he loves us so much. Guruji, I say I'm his ladli. Unhone aise laad ladaye ne because mummy de jaan to baad bhi, it was only in the mandir that when I would go, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਪੇਕੇ ਆ ਗਈ ਹਾਂ। I always say this. ਜੋ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ, it's so beautiful. And the day that the report came where those 22 lymph nodes were negative, I said, I need to do a Shukrana Satsang today. But, said, instead, why don't you go to the Mandir? But it was COVID time, so Mandir में restrictions बहुत थी. चाय प्रसाद तो देते ही नहीं थे, और लंगर प्रसाद भी कभी पैक्ड देते थे तो. But when I reached the Mandir, संगत जी ऐसे लाड गुरुजी ने लड़ाए. All the sevadars, uncles, अंदर गुरुजी ने रूम में लेके गए, बिठा के उत्थे चाय प्रसाद पिलाई, which I could have surprisingly after the surgery. And Guruji ne bhog lagya hoya langar, blessed langar, which I had after so long because the mandir was closed. So it was so beautiful, it was surreal. जिस तरह गुरुजी अपने आप ही कार बुला के अपने इतना प्यार देंदे ने. I'm sorry. I cannot thank Guruji enough. I went through a lot, which others say, but to me, it was absolutely a divine journey, bringing me closer and closer to Guruji Maharaj. Every 3 months, they would do a PET scan. That happened. Everything is going okay. He's been with me. Everything is fine. Then in August of 22, the doctor said, now we don't need to do the PET scan so often. You should do it now after a year. So I was on top of the world. Hey, Guruji, wow. It is heartening to hear that. But I don't know why. I just kept getting this. I told my uncle, now tomorrow we need to do your test, because last 10 months I'm doing just, everything is being me and my tests and my, surgeries and everything. But you haven't got any tests done in the last whole year. There was COVID and all of this. So tomorrow morning only I'm calling the guy to come and take the blood sample. And Sangaji, in the evening, when the reports come, his serum creatinine is very high, 6.6. And we were shocked because he had no symptoms. And we immediately called up the doctor. We do an annual checkup with the cardiologist. So we checked with him and he said, no, you come right away. And then a whole lot of battery of tests started. Everything was going on. And then, once the tests were done, his kidneys were functioning only 10%. So, which was again absolutely shattering for a day, because it was how do we deal with this? But anyway, Guruji was there right by our side all the time. Uncle went through all his tests, everything. We got ready for the dialysis that, if required, we will have to go through it. During that process, in between, he had herpes. And believe me, there was no pain even once, whereas herpes is considered the most painful condition. The doctors also couldn't diagnose because he had no pain. So they couldn't figure out what it was, that he had. So Guruji, ਜਦੋਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ 10% ਭੁਗਤਦੇ ਹੋ, 90% ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਹਟਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ. That's so true. That is so true. Uncle is on dialysis now, 2 to 3 times a week, but He goes to work every day. He goes from work for dialysis, gets it done, comes in. And I see so many people suffering over there. They have so many issues. But Guruji di Mehri hai कि uncle is so fit, fine, he goes, comes back, normal. Guruji ने सब संभाल लिया हुआ है. But संगत जी मंगया नहीं कभी भी. एक बार नहीं क्या कि गुरुजी कुछ कर दो, किडनी मिल जाए कोई, ते अंकल का इलाज हो जाए, ट्रांसप्लांट हो जाए. Not once. But Guruji, he shows us. So in the month of June, that is within 4-5 months of his treatment starting, we got a call that there is a, there's been an accident and this person is brain dead. So you are the same blood group match. Sure. And trust me, at that time, this happened in 4-5 months. But when I told uncle, we've got a call, let's go, he said, no, I am not ready for it. And I was like, but this is what we want. Ultimately, that is the treatment. That's the best treatment. But he was not ready for it. But I still pushed him because I said, abhi to match hoga, his compatibility test hoga, uske baad mein we'll come to know whether this works or not. So let's go to the hospital and get. So that one whole day, was a trial run for us. So at the end of it, though we did not get that kidney, but it was so beautiful because it prepared uncle for it. At that time, he was not ready. So today when we talk, he's like, okay, if it happens now I am prepared. And Guruji is telling us, you are on my radar. I'm looking after you. It'll happen. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੰਗੋ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸੱਚੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਲਤ ਹੀ ਮੰਗਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਔਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਕੀ ਮੰਗਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ. ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਮੰਗੋ ਨਹੀਂ ਔਰ ਮੰਨੋ, trust me, Sangat ji, he has given us wings to fly. He is there. ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ, ਮਾਈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਛੋਟੀ ਜੀ, he knows everything. You don't have to speak, ask. He knows everything. He'll give you answers. And I have, been through all this so beautifully with him. Today I go about, people can't believe it, that I'm a cancer survivor. I've been to the hospital so many times, but I'm telling you, I have not had pain. ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤਕਲੀਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਜ਼ਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਕਿਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਗਰ ਦਰਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, you are fine. And Guruji has given me that strength. My whole family. Guruji Maharaj has, I just want to say that, please, believe in our faith. Trust us. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਬਈ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਹੈ, ਟਰਾਈ ਕਰੋ? ਜਿਸਨੇ ਟਰਾਈ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੋਏ ਉਹ ਬੋਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ. ਓਕੇ, we got connected to Guruji after a big no. Like I had no faith in him at that time when mummy passed away, because I was like, मैं आज ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਆਈ ਹਾਂ, the next thing I lose my mother. But today, उस टाइम वास्ते मम्मी वास्ते वो अच्छा सीगा, because she never wanted to live a life like that. So whatever happened was for the best, rather than happening के कोमा इच पता नहीं कितने दिन कट दे, and वो स्टेज नहीं आई कि असी मंगदे कि भाई गुरु महाराज उन्होंने चुक लो. I think Guruji knows what is best. ਸਾਡਾ ਦਾਇਰਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਛੋਟਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਸਾਡੀ ਸੋਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਛੋਟੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਬਟ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਪਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਸਾਡੇ ਅਗਲੇ ਜਨਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ. So just believe and trust in Guru Maharaj. He knows what is best for us and he is doing the best for us. ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਹੱਸਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਟਾਈਮ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹ ਨਿਕਲ ਗਿਆ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਔਖਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ. So Sangat ji, Guru Maharaj de चरनां च कोटि प्रणाम. गुरु जी दे चरनां च बस गुरु जी अपने नाल लगाए रखन, अपनी सेवा च रखन, सत्संग संग ਬਖਸ਼ਦੇ ਰਹਿਣ।
तू मेरे साथ है, ओ मेरे सतगुरु जी तुसी मेहर करो, मैं दर तेरे ते आई हुई हां, मेरे कर्मां वल ना वेखियो जी, मैं कर्मां तो शर्म